Okay, so it looks like you're open the month. This is Knight of Cups. So Knight of Cups is a messenger card. He usually comes with a message of the heart. And all knights are romantic, playful, clever. But Knight of Cups, it tends to be an idealist. He tends to be, refined in his thinking. He's very romantic. He's a knight of the gesture. He usually comes wearing his heart on his sleeve. And because it's in the reverse position, this tells me that you may have a message on your heart that you're not communicating. You're not wearing your heart on your sleeve. You're not communicating your feelings that are in your heart. Now, whether it's a feeling of love or it's a feeling, whatever it is that's in your heart, shows me that you're not communicating that. And instead, and you may, in some ways, this is strength, which is also in the reverse position. So strength has to do with being patient, persevering, showing strength and fortitude through challenging times. She's actually opening the jaws of the lion through softness rather than forced sheer brute strength. It's sort of like the Chariot is about victory and will and control with the mind and achieving a goal, whereas strength is the next evolution from Chariot. Chariot is the 7th card and strength here is the 8th card. The fact that it's in reverse shows me that you may not be embodying your own inherent strength, that you're feeling maybe weak. Either that or that you're trying to force a situation where really what you need to employ is gentleness. That's at the opening of December. So if there's something that you're not communicating, something on your heart, and you're trying to use force instead, it may be problematic. Or if instead you're feeling weak about it, but you want to say something, but you feel like you're in a position of weakness, see if there's a way that you can correct these cards or upright them by actually saying what is on your heart, by actually employing strength, stand in your own truth, employ patience and dignity and fortitude. And that's what strength is all about. That will correct that card for you because these things are present. They're just being held under the surface. They're just being held in delay or in shadow. They're not coming to the surface for you. It's like there's something on your heart that you want to say, but it's bubbling like right below the surface. And you're feeling you need strength, but you're not feeling strong. You're feeling perhaps weak or that you need to force something instead of just being able to hold fast with strength itself. The star tells me that you do have hope in the matter. Star is all about self-acceptance. So I think there's a way in which you're kind of maybe just hoping for the best, or you're hopeful about the future. Like maybe there's something that you want to say and you're feeling weak about it, but at least you see that you have some hopes for the future about it. And you have hopes for a new beginning. Because this card, both of these cards are very full of hope and joy. This card, Ace of Cups, is about a new beginning. I call this card My Cup Runneth Over. It's a card that is, because it's an ace, it's a new start. And it actually depicts the universe handing you something that you love. Cups are heart cards. And so this is the universe handing you something that is handing you a heart. It's handing you a full heart. So it's joy, creativity, abundance, prosperity, new things coming to you that fill you. This lotus represents enlightenment in the Buddhist tradition, things flowering. So at the beginning of the month is a very hopeful time for you. If you can get past this feeling of weakness or vulnerability is actually what I'm getting out of this strength in reverse. And feeling the vulnerability of communicating what's on your heart. I mean, sometimes Aquarians can, because you're a mental sign, be a little bit detached. And you may have this fear of saying what's on your heart, but I encourage you to do so. I encourage you to, even if you're feeling weak, even if you're feeling vulnerable, see if there's a way that you can say what's on your heart without putting yourself in a compromising position, or maybe even write something down if that makes it easier to communicate it. See if there's a way that you can actually come out with it, whatever this is, that this message on your heart, it wants to come out. It's interesting too because it's in line with the moon, which represents both illusion and things coming up from the subconscious. In this card, these are subconscious feelings. This crab right here, or lobster, represents the deep, watery emotions of both Cancer and Scorpio, and it's coming up from the subconscious realm, and it's allowing things to come up in a balanced way. We see the dog, which is domesticated, and the wolf, which is wild. So finding the balance between letting those feelings come up and communicating, letting them out in the light in a balanced way is what's needed. The moon, there might be a way to let those feelings out that is not in the bright light of day, but at night. And there may be a way in which it can be under a soft light. Like maybe this is just to someone that you can confide or trust in. Maybe, again, it's writing things down. Maybe the moon often represents illusion. It's reflection of light. So maybe there's a way that you can say this thing in a way that is not 100%, direct and blunt and out there and vibrant like the light of day, but softly and shaded. And maybe I'm getting like gentleness off of this one. Same with strength. Strength implies gentleness. And through that, you are going to embrace your own power. Magician is a card of the I Am. It's card 1 in the major arcana. So it's a card of, I will this to be so. And he actually takes what's in the etheric realm and brings it down to earth. And that's that abracadabra moment. That's where we get magician power. So it's creativity, originality, boldness, power. And the sense I get for you, Aquarius, is that by sharing what's on your heart, being willing to be vulnerable or weak, saying this thing gently, letting these subconscious feelings come up to the light of day, or at least the light of night, in a balanced way is gonna create a lot of sense of power and kind of like unlock, yeah, this is who I am, this is my power, this is my truth. And it's going to be a very empowering thing. So I encourage you to do that in December, Aquarius. That's going to be a theme for you. Towards the middle of the month, you've got some money management issues going on. The King of Coins is upside down, so this could be like a boss, or whoever holds the money, who's ever in charge of the money. Usually this is a business owner, King of Coins, so he's upside down. He's not seeing things correctly. He is not an ally. He may be holding on to money. Like Four of Coins is a card of holding on to money, keeping the status quo. It's sometimes related to fear and like I'm trying to maintain and keep everything that I have. This is a card of like holding the purse strings and keeping everything the same. So this tells me if you were expecting any sort of bonuses or raises in December, I don't see it coming. This is like just trying to keep the boat afloat, like hold on to every little last coin. Because the boss, the guy who manages the money, has not been making good decisions. King of Coins in reverse says bad financial management or poor financial management. The person in charge has not been doing things in a way, it's creating a situation where everything is having to be held on to in sort of like fear, like, am I going to have enough? I better hold on to every last cent. So, and this could be a earth sign. So King of Coins can be Capricorn, it can be Taurus, or it can be Virgo, or it could just mean the boss, like the person who has the money, the head of the household, the head of the company. Usually King of Coins is head of the company. So be careful towards the middle of the month if you're having to just manage every last cent, or there's a situation where you're expecting some money, but the status quo is going to be maintained and budgets are going to need to be adhered to because of poor decisions on the part of the guy who is in charge of the money. That's going to lead to you. This is Two of Wands. This is a spiritual journey, and this is feeling personal power. However, in the reverse position, this is you doubting your own personal power, doubting your own. Normally, this card means having the world in my hands, The world is my oyster, like feeling free, feeling like you can climb that mountain. I look at this as like climbing the top of Mount Kilimanjaro. But I think it's if you're feeling disempowered, especially in relation to some of the decisions that have been made regarding money and the resulting situations because of that in the middle of the month, what you're going to need to do, what's going to change any feelings of disempowerment, because this is in reverse. This card in its upright position, like I said, means personal power, but in reverse it means doubting your own power, not feeling your own power. I get the sense in December, Aquarius, that in some ways you're feeling vulnerable or weak or not trusting your own power, your own voice. If you are able to communicate what's on your heart in a way that is balanced and trusting your own strength, that is what's going to turn things around for you this last week of December. And that's what's going to put you in the place of magician, who does own his own power. He's so powerful, he can create new things. He can bring things, he can will things into existence just by his own sheer focus and power and will. So that's what I'm going to say. Say what's on your heart. You do have hope about the situation. It's just that someone else's poor decisions are creating a financial, restriction or financial fears where there's not enough quite to go around. There's just enough. Or if you hold on to pinch every last penny, this is like the Midas card or the miser card. So if you're feeling disempowered, which is Two of Wands in reverse, because of that, then see if you can communicate what's on your heart. See if you can be vulnerable and say something in a gentle way, those subconscious feelings coming up, that enables you to step into your power and say, this is my truth. This is what I am. This is the I am card. This is what I will to be. So that's going to come for you at the end of the month, Aquarius. Then I see you've got 3 cards which are... It's funny that there was another sign in which some of these cards showed up, and they're spiritual related cards. So there's going to be a way in which 7 of Cups is a card of making decisions, seeing things for what they are, and making a choice based on really evaluating what the different options are. Because this is in the reverse position at the end of the month, I'm going to say be careful that you are not deceived or there's not illusion at play, especially in regarding to this guy. He's in line with that. He is in line with you feeling weak and vulnerable. He's in reverse, so he's not making good decisions. And there's a way in which illusion is at play. So be careful that you're seeing things, especially him, as he is, because this can be deception and illusion. This can be like, oh, look at all these fancy jewels and victory, and I can be this persona, and I can have this passion, and I can have, I can be the guardian of the jewels. I can have these castles in the air. I can have anyone I want as a partner. But when this fog clears, you begin to see like, oh, this is a lot of false stuff, or false promises can sometimes be this card. Beware of false promises towards the end of the month. And also, people who are in a position of power or authority, they usually have the utmost benefit of the group in mind, but in this case it's saying, the benefit of the group is not in alignment with things. I'm getting a sense towards the end of the month there may be some issues of deception or illusion, especially in regards to figures of authority who claim spiritual authority, or they're sitting on the throne saying, I'm the one who knows. It's going to send you a little bit out of balance or a little out of whack. It's going to challenge your peace, because this is Temperance. This is the angel of peace, the angel of balance. She's always calm. It's not clear whether it's a male or female, because it's kind of an androgynous figure. But again, it represents that sense of balance, like balance between male and female, balance between the 2 cups, which can be 2 hearts. It's synthesis of something. It's coming to middle ground. It's coming to alignment. In some decks, this is called art. So it's the creation of something. It's the merging and blending of 2 things. It's the emotional world in the physical world. But this being upside down tells me that it's going to be, you might not be able to maintain your calmness, your tranquility, your sense of peace or balance or order. That's going to be thrown out of whack because if you believe in things here that are false promises, you may want to like rely upon them. You may follow the like traditional path of like, oh, that's been promised to me, so I'm going to go ahead and do the traditional thing of like, you know, working on something. But it's going to throw you off course. Be careful, Aquarius, that you look things in the eye, especially towards the end of December. If you're made promises by the person who manages the money, or they might be painting a rosier picture than it actually is, it could throw you off course. So the other thing that I have to say is that we have a new moon on December 11th. That's actually in your 11th house of friendships. So, and humanity and science. So it could be a time where you can set an intention to make new friends, or you might just naturally be making some new friends. It's new moon in your 11th house. You might have a good new friend enter the picture, or you could be beginning a new course of science, like if you're taking a class in science, or you're creating a new invention. That's all 11th house energy. So it's a new time for new beginning in something regarding the 11th house. Also on December 25th, we have a full moon in Cancer, which is your 6th house. And 6th house is traditionally the sign or the house of service and things related to your day-to-day routine, also work. So some of you, because full moons mean climax or culmination or completion, some of you may be finishing up a job. You might leave a job. It might be the time for you to end that type of service or that type of day-to-day task. You may, come to the end of a particular type of lifestyle or daily types of habits that we have or health regimes. So something comes to a completion regarding your 6th house on December 25th.